Hello, my name is Dakota Shunk. I'm 48 years old. When I took my brothers, I had my own home, and my mother had her own home. And my kids were at her house. When this all happened, I was cooking supper, and I seen cops going by and kids running. So I ran up to my mom's house. When I got up there, they were chasing my brother down the hall, trying to escape out the back door. And the door wasn't even in the back of the house. They arrested him. We asked why. They wouldn't tell us. They rounded up all the kids. And I asked why they were taking my children. They wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me where they were for 4 years. I had no clue where they were. I was court-ordered to treatment twice. Did that. I had my own job, my own house, my own vehicle. I fought every week to try to get them back. The judge Ann was Julie Weddle. Somehow she lost all the recordings. Every time I went to court, they didn't have she'd put the tape on, but they never found no tapes or no documents about any of this. And when I seen my kids, my baby didn't even know who I was. She wouldn't come to me. My kids were treated wrong. I went to all the visitations I could. They had set up, but they'd bring them in. They wouldn't tell me where they were. And this went on. Took my brothers. They wouldn't tell me what they did or nothing. Wouldn't tell my mother. So we tried to find out, try to get hold of someone who would help us. Me and my cousin Ben Gonzalez, but he passed away now. And I fought, but we were the only two, and we didn't know who to go to. And I just want my brothers home.
My name is Dakota Rouse. I am 23 years old, and this is my story. We were taken away from my family in Marty, South Dakota on a reservation, and we was put in these foster homes that were really to us kids. They were really racist and didn't care about us, didn't take care of us or nothing. And now what we're going through now is finding out the truth about our past, and that our uncles are innocent and they're wrongly convicted of this crime because of his say and her say on this reservation, because they didn't like our family's last name or our family. And what they did to us children is undescribable, and they think that they can do this to many other generations on the reservations. But what they did to us kids is wrong, and we want our justice for our family. We want people to know about our story, and we seek for justice. We want our uncles out of prison. They've been locked up for 18 years, and they need to be home with their families, and they need to be here for us as well. And those judges, those lawyers, those doctors, those foster parents, those social workers, the BIA, those FBI agents, they all got a bonus, for their opportunity to do this to my family on this reservation. They think it's okay to be tearing up people's families like this and live better lives when they destroy lives, many lives. They think it's okay when it's not okay, and I'm asking for justice for my uncles. This is my story. Thank you.
My name is Melanie Rouse, and I'm 32 years old.
It's Tristan Rouse, 26 years old.
My name is Figure Rouse, I'm 19 years old.
My name is Jordan Rouse, I'm 29 years old.
My name is Rosemary Rouse. I'm 23.
My name is Donovan Rouse. I'm 26 years old.
My name is Jessica Rouse and I'm 21 years old.
My name is Lucretia May Rouse.
Hi, I am Lori Rouse. I am the mother of Melanie, Moses, Tabitha, and Christopher Rouse.
Hello, my name is Bill Decker.
I remember 2 of them. The first one, they didn't take all of us. They didn't take me or my brother and sisters.
Well, I remember sitting at the house with the family in the living room. Aunties in the living room. My cousins were in my room listening to my radio. What I remember is the cops pulled up, so we got scared. Didn't know what was going on. They came in and said that there was reports of abuse going on in the house. The kids being abused, us kids, which was lies. So the parents said that nothing happened. They still took us, me, my brother, and my 3 sisters, up to the BIA office up in Wagner.
The second time they came back, we were at my Auntie Beat's house, and then they came back again, and that's when they took me and my siblings and whoever else was in the house, whatever other kids were left.
Because they didn't say what kids or whose kids, they just said kids, reports of abuse of kids, however they say it, but that's what they did. They just took all the kids out of the house.
Because they came in, just like you said. They didn't know your names, they just took you.
I remember we got taken away in 1993. It was, running, crying, all in a panic, trying to get us kids inside. My uncles told us to run in the back room and hide.
They came in and said that they were taking us for a day. There was like 4 or 5 FBI guys and we all ran to Uncle Jess.
They found us. We was hiding out in the back room. They took us. They separated us at first. They took the older ones. And they took us younger ones in a different van.
It was to see my mom again.
I lived down in South Dakota when the accusations came out. I was in total shock. We went shopping, came back, and there was a policeman and a social worker, I guess, there grabbing kids. I kept on asking for a paper. They didn't have a legal paper. They had a little tiny piece of paper with names on it. They grabbed the kids and told us to go to the tribal hall the next day. And they explained everything. So the next day we went down there and met Dan Husband. We were under the impression from the day we met him that he was an FBI agent.
Like I said, me and my brother and my 3 sisters were taken to the BIA and we sat there all night, at least all night, until they started driving us to Beersford. And that's still a couple hours drive. And then from Beersford to Oak Point, that's about at least another hour, to get to the foster home where they had to take us. So I mean, it was pretty early in the morning, 2, 3 in the morning when we finally got to the foster home. So it was starting to get dark when they took us, and it was way past dark when we got there.
When we got there, I was honestly scared. I didn't know why. I honestly didn't know why we were being taken.
We sat there for a few hours at least.
Because from there, I went to Gene Brock's. And then from Gene Brock's, I went to the same foster home that Jerome and Don are at.
Once they came got us, we went down to the foster home in Beersford. The foster parent picked us up in Beersford, Roger Jordan. And they took us to the foster home after that.
Took us to his foster care, the farmhouse in Oak Point, Jefferson. Donna Jordan's farmhouse.
I went to a foster home first for that couple hours. They said they couldn't keep me there because I was too old and they didn't keep older kids there, so they transferred me that night to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to the children's inn, and I was there by myself. Like a week later, or maybe 2 weeks, I don't remember the time, but I did get a phone call from somebody and they asked me if I knew why I was taken away, and I said no. And then they asked me if my dad or my uncles have ever touched me, or have I seen them touch anyone, and I said no. And then don't really remember how the conversation ended, but yeah, I remember them asking me that over the phone. I never talked to anyone in person about it.
Foster mom, Donna Jordan, she didn't like us, probably because we were Indian. She really treated us bad. I actually treated my cousins bad, my boy cousin. You know, and whenever we got head lice, we didn't have head lice when we got there. But when we did get head lice, she made us take baths and alcohol. Yes, baths. Whole bunch of bottles of alcohol, rubbing alcohol. We had to sit in there. Even though it burned and we cried, she didn't care. She didn't.
It was just like the treatment we went through at Donna Jordan's care. Like the alcohol baths we had to take when we had head lice. That was something you will never forget.
I had to do 3 or 4 years of hard labor at the Jordans.
She was like, it was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All I had to do farm labor chores, the hay, all that stuff. That's what we was doing. It was just horrible there. She wouldn't feed us when we was hungry.
I remember always being hungry, always hungry.
I remember quite a few times eating the dog food.
And she'd only feed us little proportions of food. Honestly, I remember us eating dog food because we were hungry.
And when she didn't want to feed us, we would have to go into the bar and eat the dog food. Because she wouldn't feed us.
But she was mean. Very mean. No kind of foster mom anybody would want to go live with. Anybody.
We'd have to, like you said, we had to do the garden, pick all the weeds, I had to do the fences. I had to set up all the fences for the horses and the cows to keep them separated.
She just same thing, made us clean all the time. If we didn't do it, pull us on by our hair. I remember she was always pulling Jessica and Tisha by their hair.
Been at Donna Jordan's? Yeah.
Can you tell us?
I remember we always used to be locked outside for like all day. Like the door would literally be locked and we couldn't go in. And that's why we ate dog food.
Even her son used to really treat us bad. And he was older than us. He was like a grown man, treating us mean, pulling us by our hair and stuff.
I know once he took me in town to Jefferson and I stayed at his house and cleaned up the whole house, you know. He had me clean up his house for him.
All the time, I was the oldest, I was the main one that had to clean everything, the whole house. She even made us rub her feet.
I remember being locked out when it was really cold out. And we were crying to her, telling her we were cold. And she said, go pick up trash. You know those barrels you can start fires in? She said, go pick up trash and put it in there. And so me and my sister Lakusha were. And being that small, I didn't know you couldn't throw glass in a fire. And it exploded and it burned me right here. And I told her and she didn't really do nothing.
I was 7. But I know after she was done foster caring Indian kids, she went to black kids. And I ain't gonna doubt fact that she's probably doing the same thing to them. The foster home they took me to, me and Donovan and Jerome and Jessica and all them, we sat there for literally hours and saying, no, that never happened, no, they didn't do that, no, they didn't do that. And then finally after hours sitting there, and then we just start saying yes to everything. And they told us, if you say yes to this, you'll get to go home.
The one I mostly remember is Dan Housebetter, because he had whatever tape recorder and sitting right across the table from me when they interviewed me.
I know Dan Husband, Mickey Tapkin.
When I testified, I started crying because I knew I was lying, and I was scared that they were going to be mad at me, so I started crying because I knew it was, you know.
Before I went to do my medical thing, I remember the night before, she told us we couldn't eat or drink nothing after midnight. And maybe that's just how I am. But I went and I drank water after midnight. But we did those baths before we went and got examined. And I went and drank water, and after they put us to sleep and did whatever, I ended up throwing up and getting really sick because I drank water after midnight.
They had us do videos before that too, to explain what we saw and what we did and what they did and all that. And, you know, that's all lies.
It was before we was gonna testify. There was this secret room where we was watching TV and stuff playing. And one by one, they would take us into this other room where there was a mirror right here where you could see on the outside and watch them, but we were separated from them. And when they would take us back there, they would question us one by one, you know, did your uncles do this, your uncles do that? Say that they did this and this, and you'll go home. You'll see your family. We was scared, but when I was testifying, there was a lady sitting next to us when I was testifying. I remember that. She was whispering in our ears, telling us what to say into the microphone and pointing at them. That's what I remember.
It was my turn to go on the stand, and then I looked in, and I seen my uncles. And then I didn't want to go in there because I knew I was lying. I knew I was lying. Camcording in the judge's office because I didn't want to go on the stand and lie right there when my uncles were sitting right there. That's the reason why we had the rest of the court session in the judge's office, because I didn't want to go lie right on the... And I remember every question they asked me was just either yes or no. They really didn't give us a chance to tell them what they really put us through before they had all.
Why would we be so happy to see them if they were abusing us every day, you know, or if it was going on even, why would we not be scared of them, you know? Why would we say hi when we first seen them, you know? Why would we be so happy to see them?
Mickey Tapkin, I remember her, I think her name was Michelle.
But in the trial, they made it seem like I was scared of my uncles. When it wasn't that, I knew I was lying. But telling me to say yes and no and yes and no. But she wasn't in that camcorder. It was just me. Eva. That's her. Tell me what to say. It made me lie.
Our uncles were wrongfully accused for abusing us.
And we had to lie.
I went to South Dakota. I financed my trip to South Dakota, and I stayed there for 3 weeks, and I thought I was going to be called as a witness. I was led to believe that I needed to stay out of the courtroom until I was to be called as a witness. And I think I was there, and I talked to Binger, a guy named Binger, and I've also talked to, they came to my truck to look at what I thought could be a piece of evidence, because they said they pulled a rope out of the snowbank, the FBI did, and that rope It seemed like it was the rope that I had taken up there in the summer before to tie my sleeping bag up, and I had a rope just like it in my truck. And they came to the hotel where I was staying, and they looked at the rope a little bit and kind of looked at one another a little bit and decided they wasn't going to use the rope as or that they could get it thrown out as evidence or something like that.
Jane Brock tried to buddy up with me, and she'd make really bad comments about Native Americans, that they wouldn't fight for their kids, that all they cared about was the booze, that they wouldn't worry about anything. So she pretty much implied that Indians didn't care about anything but their drinking.
Used as a witness, and I wasn't there to tell them what kind of house it really was, and the prosecution made it sound a lot worse than it really was. You know, I know they do drink. They did never say that they didn't, and that just made them weak and an easy victim for the prosecution. And I think one of the prosecutors become a federal judge after that, using that as probably leverage, political gain, in my view.
I don't know. It was really surreal for me that the whole thing was going on.
Kids made up stories, wild stories about being locked in rooms where actually there's no doors, and also no locks because there's no doors. They said I think Donovan said that he was put up in the attic, tied up and put in the attic, and that it was a big room in the attic, and really it's just a attic entry about this wide, and it's full of boxes. That's where they stored things, because you know they have so many people live in their house at one time because the government doesn't see fit to provide housing, suitable housing for them because of the treaty. They don't follow any of the treaties. People go in and out of the house. They come and go all night long sometimes. You know, it's kind of like Grand Central Station. Always somebody calling up, or in those days they didn't always have a telephone. Anybody that looks at any of the testimony, any of the trial at all, they pretty well tell real quick that they are innocent. But nobody cares. They don't care to read the papers. You know, what do you call them, the lawyers that you try to get to defend them, you can't get anyone to do it because they all want money, and it's just pretty bad.
If I could send a message, that everything that was said was all lies. No matter what you hear, it was all lies.
If you could send a message to people in the USA, what would you do? Said it was lies, and I want somebody to believe me for the
Lies. It was all lies. What they told us to say.
And I lost my dad. I lost trust in police, government, people that you're supposed to turn to when something goes wrong. And what I can say to you is, please get my dad out, please get my uncles out. And my grandkids miss them, and they want to know them, and they want to know them too. So please help them out.
My uncles never touched me in any way. I just want them free and out.
I'm saying, I know they did a good thing, and that I'm sorry and I love them.
I just want to say my uncles are innocent. They've been innocent. They never touched me. They never, nothing. Please believe me.
They're innocent. I know this. I have known Jesse since 1986. Desmond, Garfield.
Anybody that knows that family knows that that's wrong, that those men are innocent, and that they've been trumped up, charges put on them, and that it's more like a genocide carrying on things toward them. You know, it's terrible what they've done to them, and also to the kids, because the kids have grown up now, and the judge, after they convicted them, said that they, you know, maybe when the kids grow up, like 15 years or something, that they'll review it and probably release them. Garfield Feather, Russell Hubling, Desmond, and Jesse Rouse. I want to see justice done. I want to give them a fair trial.
The government's messed up. And there's a lot of people out there that are greedy. And they'll do anything for money. Just to make other people, you know, be hurting, to tear people apart. And it's pretty messed up how the system goes.
I'd like to see them get real justice. They haven't gotten it. Justice in the state of South Dakota has to be bought. If you can't afford it, you don't get justice, apparently. I've seen a travesty of justice, and I want it fixed, and I want it fixed now.
This helps. I really hope this helps.
To all of you who are listening to this program today, my name is Garfield Feather, and I'm a member of the Yankton Sioux tribe. For the past 17 years, I've been sitting in prison for a crime that I did not commit. If there's any of you out there who can help us or listen to this program can help us, we sure appreciate it, because we need all the help we can get, because we're going against a very powerful government, and that's doing their best to keep us in here for a crime we never committed. So, if you can help us, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Desmond Rouse. I'm from the Yankton Sioux Reservation. My ancestors are from Germany, French, Ponca, and Yankton Sioux. My mother passed away while I was in prison here. And it's hard to believe that my family has to live like they do, because the people do not believe that we are innocent. And I'd just like to ask you people for your help and your belief and your trust in us, that what we're telling you is all true. You know, and, you know what the FBI and the prosecution put our children through. They ruined them psychologically, and they did not even want to help them. So now they're real messed up, and they want you, the public, to believe that we did this to them when we didn't do nothing. We're innocent. If anyone messed them up, the prosecution, FBI messed them up. They use their courtrooms just as another form of genocide against the Native people in South Dakota. I know not all people are racist, but in South Dakota they are. Now I'd just like to ask to the strong-hearted good people that are left in the world to help us, you know, in any way you can, and believe in us. And, you know, I'd like to say thank you. And thank you for your support and your belief.
My name is Russell Hubling. I'm limited to time, so I have to be blunt. We are all innocent. The justice system failed us. Hopefully there will be justice this time. Thanks to everybody helping, and also the listeners. Thank you.
Aloha, this is Jesse Rouse. I'm a Ehanktoa, Dakota. I'm from the Ehanktoa Indian Reservation in Greenwood, South Dakota. I've been locked up for 17 years for a crime that never happened. My children are Melanie, Moses, Tabitha, and Krista Rouse. They were all so young when I got locked up. Now they have children, my grandchildren. I have a beautiful family that I'm missing out on. I've been lucky. My youngest son, Christopher, came to Florida to visit me. He brought his two boys, my grandsons, Cadence and Caleb. I was so happy to see them and sad at the same time. I wanted to cry because my son was a man now. I had to be strong for my son. Christopher was the same age as his oldest son, Cadence. When I got locked up 17 years ago, my heart was broken for my son. He had to grow up without his dad, just like the rest of my children. I just want people to know this. The only thing that keeps me going is my family and knowing I am truly innocent of my charges. My family knows I am innocent. With your help and understanding, you will know I am innocent of these charges. There was never any physical evidence in our case, only words by the social services, BIA and FBI agents saying this is what was told to me. In this day and age, it would seem the greatest country in the world would need some kind of physical evidence to convict. I guess when you're a Native American, words are good enough to get you convicted for something that never happened. I want to thank you all for taking time out to listen to me. Pidamia.
Thank you for watching this. This is an appeal for help to all people. I'd like to thank you in the name of the Feather family, the Rouse family, the Habeling family, and the extended families.
Mutaki Oyasi, Pidamia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pidamia. Oh, Takiasan.
The Indian has been out there on the ghetto of the reservation for a long, long time. We have existed without adequate food, clothing, shelter, or medicine, to name but a few. In their place, we have been given malnutrition, poverty, disease, suicide, and bureaucratic promises of a better tomorrow. Your America has not been the land of your proclaimed equality and justice for all. May your God forgive you. The treatment of our people has been a national tragedy and disgrace.